Have you ever wondered how some companies thrive with remote work while others flounder? It's a question that has become increasingly relevant in recent times. The trend of remote work is growing, rapidly transforming the traditional workplace dynamic. Yet, this shift doesn't come without its challenges. How do you foster collaboration in a virtual space? How do you maintain productivity when your team is scattered across different time zones? And most importantly, how do you lead effectively in this new normal? These questions highlight the importance and indeed the complexity of effective leadership in remote work setups. But fear not, it's not an impossible task. There are companies out there that have cracked the code to successful remote leadership. They've managed to not only adapt to this new reality, but also thrive in it. So how can we learn from them? Let's dive into an example of successful remote leadership to understand how it can be done. Consider the story of XYZ Corp, a tech firm that transitioned to remote work in 2020. When the world was grappling with the sudden shift to remote work, XYZ Corp was no exception. But they navigated this new terrain with savvy and sophistication, providing a blueprint for successful remote leadership. The leaders at XYZ Corp knew that the transition to remote work would be a challenge, but they also saw it as an opportunity to reshape their work culture. They recognized that clear communication would be paramount in this new environment. No longer could they rely on impromptu conversations by the water cooler or quick chats in the hallway. They needed to be proactive, intentional, and clear in their communication. They also realized the importance of setting expectations. With employees working from different locations and often at different times, it was crucial to establish clear guidelines and goals. The leaders at XYZ Corp made sure every team member knew what was expected of them and when. They set deadlines, defined deliverables, and provided feedback on a regular basis. This helped to keep the entire team on the same page, working towards the same objectives. But perhaps the most significant strategy employed by the leaders at XYZ Corp was trust building. They knew that in a remote environment, trust would be more important than ever. So, they made it a priority to build and maintain trust with their team members. They did this by being transparent, by showing empathy, and by giving their employees the autonomy to do their jobs. They trusted their team to deliver, and in turn, the team trusted their leaders, and the results, they speak for themselves. XYZ Corp saw an increase in productivity, and more importantly, in employee satisfaction. Employees felt valued, heard, and trusted. They felt part of a team that was thriving in the face of adversity. They were more engaged, more motivated, and more committed to their work. XYZ Corp's success demonstrates the power of effective remote leadership. But what can we learn from their experience? Let's distill some key principles from XYZ Corp's story. First and foremost, let's talk about clear communication. Leading remote teams requires a level of clarity that goes beyond what you might be used to in an office setting. It's like playing a game of telephone, but with your team's productivity and morale at stake. So remember to be explicit, concise, and transparent in your communication. Use tools that facilitate smooth interactions and ensure everyone is on the same page. Next up is setting expectations. This is all about defining what success looks like for your team. It's not just about deadlines and deliverables, but also about how your team should interact, collaborate, and contribute. Make sure everyone knows what's expected of them and what they can expect from you and their colleagues. Now let's move on to trust building. This might seem like a daunting task when you're miles apart from your team, but it's absolutely crucial. Trust is the glue that holds your remote team together. Foster it by being reliable, transparent, and responsive. Show your team that you trust them by giving them autonomy and acknowledging their expertise. Finally, providing support. This goes beyond answering emails and solving technical issues. It's about being there for your team members, understanding their needs, and helping them navigate the challenges of remote work. Remember, your team is more than a set of tasks. They are people with their own struggles and triumphs. Be their ally, their coach, and their biggest cheerleader. These principles are not just relevant to remote work, but to leadership in general. Whether you're leading a team in person or from afar, these are the building blocks of effective leadership. They are the pillars that will hold your team together as you navigate the uncharted waters of remote work. In the face of challenges posed by remote work, effective leadership shines through. As XYZ Corp shows us, with the right leadership, remote work is not just feasible, but can be a path to greater success.